I actually find pressure in the studio really helps, and limitations. I've always said limitations with studio equipment is a massive way to encourage creativity, but actually with time as well. Yeah, if you limit your time and you say, okay, I've only got like 3 hours today in the studio, in reality, you can make a good track in 3 hours, if you put your mind to it and you get going.
Ever wonder how top DJs actually built their careers?
I had to do 15 years of hard work to get any of the recognition that I wanted.
Where I saw a turning point in my career is when I became true to myself.
From marketing and mindset to networking and negotiation, I'm giving you the tools you need to build a lasting career in dance music.
Give them bits of you and your everyday life.
You have to change the way you view the word no. Like me, I'm encouraged by it.
Join me, Olivia Mancuso, and industry leaders as we reveal what it really takes to turn your passion into profit. This is Elevated Frequencies. This episode is sponsored by Laylo, where culture drops first. Laylo is the drop platform and CRM used by artists and promoters like Fisher, Chris Lake, James Hype, Mochak, Weathen, and tech support to create hype around big moments and build a direct line to fans. With Laylo, you can capture phone numbers from social media and message your biggest supporters when tickets or merch go live, plus reward them with exclusives. It works across SMS, email, WhatsApp, and Instagram DMs with integrations like Shopify and Spotify, voicemail hotlines, and a complete tour suite when you're ready to hit the road. Laylo makes it easy and affordable for DJs to drop in your style and build a fandom that lasts. Use the link in our show notes for 15,000 free messaging credits with code Olivia15. So the last time we talked was 2023, and you've become a dad since then.
Yeah.
And how old did your baby just turn?
Yeah, so she was 2 last week.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was such a nice week. Yeah, just took a few days off from any kind of work, music stuff. And, we went to like soft play and we saw a load of friends and we did all the cake and it was just so nice. Yeah.
Those are 2 completely opposite worlds.
Yeah.
It's already, I feel like, hard for people who are not in the dance music space to understand what a DJ does. But then you throw like dad life into the mix. Yeah. Is there any similarities between the 2?
Well, I wouldn't say between the 2 things, but the thing is a lot of DJs my age have become dads around the same time. So actually, Archie, who you said you've got coming in here later, believe it or not, he was one of the first people I told that I was having a baby because we went for dinner in DC, I think. We played at Flash in DC together. And he told me that he was having a baby or he just had one. And so, yeah, I was like, well, me too.
Yeah. And I feel like toddlers sometimes like mimic drunk adults too. You have to like corral them and manage them around like sharp corners, expensive equipment, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've seen that at a few after parties.
Yeah, exactly. Has it impacted like your music at all now, experiencing this different range of emotions, like love for a tiny little human? Does it influence anything in the studio? I
mean, it probably does. I think just generally it's given me a new lease of life for music as well. And I found my mojo with music again, really, and in the studio. So I can't pinpoint like any specific inspiration, but maybe it's taking time away as well. And not being in the studio every single day and music doesn't just like consume my whole life anymore. So I think having things outside of that is really important. And for a while, possibly even when we last spoke and I was like talking about slowing down the touring and stuff. Yeah, I think I've really found a new lease of life with it all now, actually.
That's amazing. So does that mean when you get in the studio, that the time there is limited, so you can't take a scroll on your phone, or like, how does it change your process?
I think I just block out time more consciously now, managing the time a bit better and making it count when I'm in the studio. I actually find pressure in the studio really helps, and limitations. I've always said limitations with studio equipment is a massive way to encourage creativity, but actually with time as well. Yeah, if you limit your time and you say, okay, I've only got like 3 hours today in the studio, in reality, you can make a good track in 3 hours, if you put your mind to it and you get going.
I bet. It's interesting because, obviously COVID forced everyone to work from home, and then we got used to it and we liked it. and I work for myself. So of course I have a home office. But I just realized like over time I was dragging work out because I would do a load of laundry. I would play with my dogs. I wasn't as focused. And so now my husband and I go to a cafe and I have a park app on my phone that I pay $5 for 2 hours or whatever. And that's my timer. I'm like, I'm going to get everything done that needs to be done in this time.
And then we're out.
Yeah. You have to do it. And it's still enjoyable. Like I like the time limits as well. Because it's just like, oh, can't do that, can't scroll on my phone, whatever. It really keeps you honest about your work ethic.
Yeah, I mean, the battle with the phone is still ongoing. Yeah,
yeah, always.
I need to leave it out of the studio, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when WhatsApp's pinging, that can definitely interrupt your creative flow. But yeah, that's part of the whole thing as well, isn't it? I mean, communicate. Because we try and not be on our phone, me and my wife, we try and not be on our phones around the baby too much. Very conscious about that. So I guess my studio is also my office. So yeah, it's a cross between making music and also like the necessary business stuff, chatting with my manager, all that happens in the studio, really.
Right. That's not, why did you decide you don't want to be on your phone around the baby? Just to be more present? Or is it like you're mirroring the no screen time for her?
Yeah, both. I mean, we're not no screen time. We don't do no screen time, but we do try and limit a lot. Yeah, we don't have a TV, but we will let her watch some YouTube and stuff now and then. And we just don't want her to see us on our phones all the time. And I don't know, it's just not a good habit, I don't think.
Totally.
So yeah, it wouldn't be good for her we didn't see our parents plugged into the phones all the time. So,
right.
I don't want her to see us like that, and when we're with her, we're playing, we're building Lego or whatever it is, painting, Otherwise, I'd just be, you don't want to be scrolling on Instagram when she's around.
Yeah, having a child kind of forces you to get back to some of those analog activities and like working with your hands. I've been trying to do that lately myself. Not I don't have a child, but like just trying to craft or do something that is not a phone habit. You realize you realize how much you're on it.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah, analog stuff, I'm all for it. Even with my studio, I have my synths and stuff, and I love like plugging in the cables and rewiring it. I probably rewire it 3 times a year.
Really? Just for fun?
Change the configuration of it all. And just really, really I find it inspiring, being hands-on with it,
Yeah. So are you going to be the type of parent that you want your child to like house music? Or are they allowed to listen to I guess Harry Styles just dropped an album today.
Oh, did he?
Oh, right. I guess, yeah. My bar instructor was very excited about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, she's into all sorts of stuff. Like my wife listens to heavy metal, so
that.
Our little one's got a very broad taste in music, from like dub reggae to heavy metal, and obviously house music and anything in between.
You're a reggae fan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I had a stint in college. I saw Revolution. Do you know who they are?
I don't actually.
Okay, I'll have to put you on to some reggae bands. I saw them at Red Rocks in college. What is it about reggae that draws you in?
It's specifically dub reggae for me. I do like some of the vocal stuff, but it's the instrumental dub stuff, like the B-sides.
Okay.
And it's the production of them that really drew me in from the beginning. Like King Tubby, Prince Jammy, people like this from the 60s, 70s that were pushing the technology. And from what I know, the history, so the BBC had some equipment in Jamaica, and it eventually they left Jamaica and left a load of studio gear there. And some of these dub producers got their hands on it and started making these stripped back versions of recordings, band recordings.
Cool.
Yeah, and they were using like echoes and filters and all this kind of stuff to make these remixes essentially. More dance floor focused remixes. And that's what we do now, isn't it? With house music, it's slightly different, but the principles are the same. Like dub reggae is all about the beat and the bass, and the space within the mix is quite minimal, so it's,
right. Yeah,
there's very few elements, but it sounds very full because of the warmth in the production. I
don't think I've talked to, and I'm sure there are, but I feel like nobody I've talked to loves music more than you do. And like your
take
obsession with production is just so cool. I love when people just really love what they do and are obsessed with it. I feel like we don't have, just in society in general, like people don't go deep with their, and not saying this is a hobby for you, but their hobbies or their crafts or their loves. And like you have such a, like, you know, the rich history behind the music too.
Yeah, I think it's just because I dedicated my life to it. You know, from an early age, I realized that I loved music and just honed in and just dedicated so much time to it. Naturally learning the history is just part of how you evolve as an artist as well. And knowing where some of this stuff comes from is really important for me.
Yeah, and it deepens the connection too. And I love that your wife loves heavy metal. Metal's great too. Do you like metal?
I do now. You know, I've been to a few shows with her now. So we're going to see a Monomarth in a few months.
Amazing.
So that's going to be cool.
Yeah, so much fun. I, back in my college days, like I went to Rob Zombie concerts and Marilyn Manson before like it came out that he was, well, we always kind of knew he was a creep, but
I don't know too much about
Marilyn
Marilyn
Manson. Oh, I mean, it's just typical rock star behavior.
Right.
But it's a different, like, it's just really fun to like get your aggression out with some of those songs, you know, good gym music. But I love that.
And also it's just good to have variety. Music is all about variety. Some people are surprised when I say I go to like heavy metal concerts or I'm into reggae, hip hop or whatever. But I think if you only like one style of music, like how boring is that? Yeah. If I just listen to house music all day, every day, like how boring would that be?
Yeah. How would you get inspired?
That's
you
it.
Know? Yeah. So the last time that we talked, I told you that like my favorite track of all time is Bass Play.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is still true. But
Unreal.
I wrote down, so I'm curious because I wrote down, I don't want it to like glaze you and make you uncomfortable, but I do have more Josh Butler tracks in my Spotify than any other artist. I found that out because we went on a road trip a couple months ago and everyone's always asked me to make a playlist. And I've always been like, it just seems like a really big task to sort through all my music. But I realized like I added more Josh Butler tracks to that playlist than anyone else. So I picked my top 5, which was hard.
I can't wait for this.
But I'm going to say them in random order, and I want to hear how you would rank them out of 5, and then I want to see if they match. But you know Bass Play is 1, so that's a freebie.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't want you to see through the pain. Call You Back. 19. Stratagem. That's how you say it, yeah? Okay. And Something.
Okay. So you want me to rank them?
Yeah. And also Bass Play, I guess. Yeah. So for you, what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Number 1, I'm going to say Call You Back. Okay. Because like obviously it's with Bontan, Love Him to Bits, and that did so much for us. It's so much for our careers, and still play it today. You know, it's still a great track. So yeah, that's number 1. Then 19.
Okay.
Really love that. Again, still a vibe. It's just I think I made that around the COVID time, actually. I had a little makeshift studio in the back bedroom, and that was one of the first tracks I made in there. So big up PM and Anna, who did the vocals on that one. Vocals are incredible. Yeah, she's got a great voice. She really does. Yeah. So, that's number 2. Then Stratagem, number 3. It's a close call, actually. That could have been number 2, because I do really like that one still.
This is hard.
Yeah, and then, I guess 4 would be Say Something. No. Let's do 4 as Bass Play. Okay. And then Say Something at the end.
Interesting. Yeah. We do not have the same, but it was really hard. So I had, Bass Play is number 1. Something was number 2. Okay. Call You Back 3. Something and Call You Back
neck and neck.
Because they scratched the same itch in my brain. So I was just like going back and forth. And I think it came down to what was the catchiest, Say Something to me. Like that's always in my head.
That's so
is Call You Back, but Say Something to me just for whatever reason edged it out.
I kind of forget about that track. I made so much music over the years. I forget some of it. And it's not one I play out very often. Say something.
Really? Well, maybe he should. Okay, and then 19. and then Stratagem. But honestly, I mean, I do. I love them all. So I just want.
Thanks very much.
I was, of course. I was curious what your rankings were. Bass Play is one of the older ones too,
it's an
right?
OG one. That.
And that's with Darius Sorosian.
Yeah, that was on Off Recordings.
Yep. You have a lot of tracks with him.
A couple, actually not too many, but we did do a lot back in the day.
Yeah.
We did a lot of gigs together and stuff.
Yeah.
But we never made that much music together, actually.
I guess however many you made, I have them all on my playlist. So it's skewed. You guys have just similar vibe, and I feel like ethos
100%.
with producing music.
Yeah. And that was a great collaboration, and it was a big step for me, actually, getting something on Off Recordings back, like 2012, I think that was released. And then so I went from Bass Play into Got a Feeling, which was, I actually made Got a Feeling for Off Recordings at first.
Really?
Because it was a good label at the time, It was a hot label. And so I really wanted to get some more tracks on there, but he didn't like Got a Feeling for whatever reason. And then it got picked up by Chasing Status eventually. And I think, it worked out for the best.
For sure.
Yeah. That changed my life,
Yeah, which is also a great track. It was really hard to pick what was on the top 5. So how long have you been making music then? At least 15 plus years.
Oh, well, yeah, God, I was probably about 13 when I really started to figure it out.
Okay.
Playing around on Reason and
Right.
different bits of software.
And gigging for...
That was quite a few years later. Gigging probably came, it depends what you class as a gig, because I was playing like parties for my school friends' birthdays and stuff.
That counts.
Yeah, so that would have been around 15, 16. Yeah, and then slowly got like gigs in the local bar. And yeah, it just grew from there.
So is there anything that's, being in the industry for quite a while now, is there anything that's winding you up? I asked because I just posted a video that's got people pretty ticked off about how recap videos are.
I saw your story before, actually. I was going to ask you about this.
Yeah.
And that guy's comment.
Whenever I post about recap videos and how they're like tired, people get very mad.
Right.
I mean the recap videos where it's like a shot of the dance floor, a shot of a bartender, a shot of a hot girl, and it's like slow motion and like
it's like a highlight reel of someone's night. Yeah.
It's boring. It's boring.
I agree. Gosh, when you asked me that question, what would you say? How did you word it? What winds me up?
Yeah. Is there anything about the industry
I was gonna say no, because actually just try and keep a positive mindset about it. There has been times where a lot of things have got on top of me like that, and because it's so fast to change and it evolves so quickly. But actually, I do try and just stay in my little space, in my own little bubble. But now you've mentioned those recap videos, I'm going to go with you on that.
Okay, so thank you for the validation.
And especially the like high production quality ones where they've hired a video team and like, it's like a Hollywood trailer, and it's like, mate, it's just a night out. It should just be a rave.
Yeah.
And you've made a cinematic trailer for it, or whatever.
And this is no shade to videographers on my part, because they're very important, but you can use them in a better way. It's not like the artist, right? Videographers are artist tool too. It's just the application. And I think a lot of it, harkens from like, trying to be cool. Like, here's a slow-mo shot of me walking up to the booth, like high-fiving, like whoever. I just think we can do better than that now.
Yeah. To play devil's advocate, I think the whole artistic space, it's about doing it how you want to do it. And the same with making music. Everybody's got their own vision and their own way of doing things. So, if a highlight reel is part of your creative pursuit, then crack on. But it's not something that I do after every gig. I don't even hire videographers that much, to be honest. If somebody's on the stage, I'll give them my phone to take a few clips.
Yeah.
And I'll post that, but I'm not too conscious about getting video content from every single show, because it's not about that for me.
You've always been pretty low key.
Yeah, and that's what I like to keep it that way.
Yeah, you're a low key guy.
Yeah. I'm at a good level where I'm happy with what I've achieved, and I'm in an underground music scene at the end of the day, and I like to keep it underground, and I don't want to be famous or anything. I don't want to be on the internet that much. I don't want my face to be on the internet. I always say I got into music because I wanted people to know my tracks rather than me. Even though they're released under my name, it's like, I don't want my face splattered all over it.
The music walks in the door first.
Yeah, that exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I think most DJs, unless they've like kind of crossed over into the pop world, have a level of just privacy that like pop stars or hip hop stars don't get because they're on the radio, they're on the mainstream radio. So you can kind of like, I mean, I don't know, is there certain markets for you where you do get recognized a lot, or are you able to kind of fly under the radar?
Maybe on flights to Ibiza.
Or in the airport. People are looking for who's on their flight.
Yeah. I mean, during the summer season, if I'm in Manchester Airport or something, I'm probably going to get someone coming up. But that's great because everybody's, because it is kind of a small scene, everybody's in the same mindset and we've all got the same interests. But, if you go to that pop star level, every man and his dog knows who, they are. So there's no privacy there, is there? At least when people come up to me on a flight to Ibiza, we can just talk about music and clubs and, stuff that interests me.
Yep.
Rather than people trying to like pry about, you hear stories about famous people having dinner with the family and people coming up wanting selfies and stuff. Thank God that doesn't happen to me,
Yeah. I can't even fathom that sort of life.
It would be a nightmare.
It absolutely would be. I mean, and like you said, like on a flight to Ibiza, everyone's already in that bubble. Everyone who's going there, probably 80-90% of that flight is going there for the same reason. So it's kind of a nice feeling. It's a community.
Totally. It is, exactly. Yeah. That's different.
Yeah, totally. So what do you have coming up on the horizon that excites you?
I've just locked in an EP with Piv, which I'm really excited about.
Amazing.
Yeah, Prunk's been supporting me for a good couple of years now, playing loads of my records. We've just locked in a 4-track EP. Well, it's actually 3 tracks and a dub version of the A-side. So
very cool.
Very happy about that. Some cool collaborations coming up as well. And I'm also launching a new label in April.
Oh, get out.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
By the time when this is out, the label will be out.
Okay, cool.
So what was the impetus for that?
Well, it was actually a project I started a few years ago with my friend Jose Rosa, who actually sang Got a Feeling. Oh. He's one of my really old friends. We're still one of my best mates. And we did a project a few years ago called Maritime Yacht Club. And the idea was more like vocal-led, commercial-leaning music. Nothing really happened with it. We both ended up having kids. And obviously, like, I've got my career and he's got a successful career in another industry. So it just sort of got left and forgotten about. And I was like, I still really want to do something with this name and this brand. So decided to turn it into a label and focus more on still going to be vocally-ish house music, but it's a bit more dance floor focused now. So more like the more soulful stuff that I do is going to be going on this.
That's very exciting.
MYC Records it's going to be called.
Amazing. Well, I know I'll love it. I've loved everything you put out so far.
Thank you.
Okay, last question. If your daughter sees this interview 10 years from now, 20 years from now, what's one thing you want her to remember about just this time in your life, or know about this time in your life?
That I guess I'm trying not to plan things too much and just sort of taking it as it comes and just trying to enjoy the moment, I think. Yeah.
The most important part.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you for doing this again. It's great to catch up with you.